Hello, my family. I am coming back to read the book of Judith. And where I left off I left off where Ammon and Moab had came to Holofernes, and they both together had told him another story, just saying that, oh, well, the children of Israel do not trust in spears. They do not trust in arrows. What they're trusting in is they're trusting in those mountains for their defense, and the steep hires and the precipices guard them. So they gave him a very different story than Ankor's story, which told them that they trust in the mighty God who protects them when they are walking upright, when they are respecting him, when they're not rebelling against him. And he told them if they have any iniquity, that their God does not protect him, and that he lets all other nations to take them captive and to oppress them and to destroy them, as we are today. We are still under the chastisement and the punishment of the Most High. So anyway, he told them that, and they gave him another suggestion, and so they suggested to him that they got to come out of their high places, or and their wall, to go down and get their water at the fountain. So they gave him the idea, okay, we're going to cut the fountain water off from them. You know what I'm saying? So when they won't be able to come out and drink the water, and they will be destroyed because they'll become famished, and we don't have to kill them with the sword or whatever. So anyway, that's where we left off. So I'm going to read that particular section. So it says, wherefore that thou mayest overcome them without joining battle. Set guards at the spring that they may not draw water out of them. And thou shalt destroy them without swords, or at least being wearied out. They will yield up their cities, which they suppose, because it is situated in the mountains, to be impregnable. By the way, since we're talking about mountains, the place behind me that it looks and appears as though I am sitting there is Mount Zion. And it is believed that the entry that you see me sitting in the middle of is the entry of the cave that Moshe went into when he was taken by the Most High to the heavens of heavens, and he was shown the glory and the magnificence of the heavens. And he was also shown the gates of hell. Anyway, that's where I'm sitting. It's such a wonderful view as I sit here, pretending as if I'm sitting somewhere in Arabia, in Mount Sinai. In this place, I am so impressed about this area of Arabia that I'm sitting in, because when I'm sitting here pretending that I'm there, my mind just goes back to the ancient elders of ours, being in this area for 40 years and all the miracles that happened there. Now I'm going to move on because that was an interruption. So anyway, so we'll continue. So it was these words that pleased Holofernes and his officers, and he placed all around about 100 men at every water spring. And when they had kept this watch, full for 20 days, the cisterns and the reserved waters failed among all the inhabitants of Bethulia, so that there was not within the city enough to satisfy them. No, not for one day, for water was daily given out to the people by measure. Then all the men and all the women and the young men and the children gathered themselves together to Ozias, all together with one voice. They said, God be judge between us and thee. For thou hast done evil against us, in that thou wouldest not speak peaceably with the Assyrians. And for this cause, God has sold us into their hands. And therefore, there is no one to help us while we are cast down before their eyes in thirst and sad destruction. Now, here I go again. This reminds me of you all today. Here you have the very fine man, what they call him John Fitzgerald Johnson. And he is seen and is much aware about the trouble that we are under and about the conditions that we are under. And he knows that we're under attack. And all he's doing is having concern for his people, which is nothing wrong to have concern for your people, because I have concern for my people, my Black people. I don't care what you believe, because I understand that we are all on various different levels. But I love my people. I don't love the people who are on the other side. I'm gonna tell you, I don't care if they're in the skin I'm in. When I hear and I detect you on the other side, I ain't got nothing to do with you. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I don't have anything to do with you. You're not in my lane, should I say. And I believe in separation all the way, all the way. So as you see here in this particular conversation, our ancestors, the scary folk, are the ones coming to Ozias and telling him, okay, God choose between me and thee. Why don't we just give ourselves up in so many ways and just throw ourselves into Holofernes? You know what I'm saying? And just be under the Assyrians. You know what I'm saying? Because they scared. Just like a lot of y'all scared and ready to go on and do whatever these people want you to do. You're ready to let them inject you with some poison, because that's all it is. You know what I'm saying? Something to wipe you out. But you're willing to go along with the game. See, this is a game, okay? And a ploy to get you to assist in eliminating yourself. And because most of y'all think everything is a conspiracy, you don't have a mindset to understand what is going on. So anyway, so you want to blame because Jay wants to build a militia that he trying to get you killed, and you getting killed anyway. They already destroying you. They're already destroying you with so many multiple means of secret weapons of quiet war, and you don't even get it. But anyway, let me move on, because it seems I love interrupting things. So anyway, I'm going to go over this because I like to go over things, you know. I can do it if I want. So the people came, his people, the Hebrew people, the scary ones came and said, God be judge between us and thee. For thou hast done evil against us, in that thou wouldest not speak peacefully with the Assyrians. And for this cause, God has sold us into their hands. And therefore, there is no one to help us while we are cast down before their eyes in thirst and sad destruction. They told us, you don't get this vaccine, you ain't gonna be able to eat. You ain't gonna be able to drink. You ain't gonna be able to get no EBT card. You ain't gonna be able to go to this store. You ain't gonna be able to do that. To hell with what they saying. Honey, we survived in slavery. And well, hell, before slavery, before our rebellion caused us to get cut down, we were survived then. And I guarantee you, if we who think alike get together, share, work together, build together, do things together, help each other, we'll survive even now. Who the hell are they? Do they know how and why they appear to be on top today? Do they comprehend and understand that the only reason that they are in the position that they are in is because we sinned against the Most High and we are serving a sentence that's put upon us by our God, not their God, all them funky gods that they get that ain't no gods anyway. Our God, okay? Because our God that we serve is different from all their other useless gods. So, and our God does not hear us. He does not hear our groans. He does not hear our moans. He does not hear our prayers when we are under punishment and chastisement, okay? He only hears our prayers, our groans, and our moaning at the time and near the time when our chastisement and our release is almost coming to an end. That's when he hears us, okay? It is the Most High that allowed them to chastise us and put us in these conditions. It's only temporary. He also delivered our kingdom into their hands temporarily. Now, although it's been over 400 years, you know what I'm saying? You probably say, oh, that doesn't seem so temporary. But the gig is about to be up. Now, I don't know exactly when that time is, but the kingdom will be, not must be, the kingdom will be returned into our hands, whether they like it or not. Their time is running out. Now, anyway, so it says, and therefore there is no one to help us while we are cast down. That's the scary ones. While we are cast down before the face, before their eyes in thirst and sad destruction. Okay, sound like many of us, talk like that, and it just irritates me so much. So it says, and now assemble you all that are in the city, that we may of our own accord yield ourselves all up to the people of Holofernes. Now, do you see what I'm saying here? Holofernes wanted to kill all of them. Instead of them thinking about a strategy, well, why don't we get ourselves together and talk to our King of Kings and go kill Holofernes? You know what I'm saying? Instead of them saying that, they scared because they think they're going to get killed. And they say, but let's just give ourselves up to Holofernes and do whatever he tells us to do. That's a lot of us. Well, let's just do what the white man tells us to do because they're going to kill us. Let's just go along to get along. You know what I'm saying? A cop-outs, scary folk. Anyway, let me calm myself down. And it says, and now, these are scary folks, and now assemble you all that are in the cities, that we may of our own accord yield ourselves all up to the people of Holofernes. For it is better that being captives, we should live and bless the Lord than that we should die. I can just see him, then we should die. I can just see him shaking in the boots. Then we should die and be a reproach to all flesh after we have seen our wives and our infants die before our eyes. We call to witness this day, heaven and earth and the God of our fathers who taketh vengeance upon us according to our sins, conjuring you to deliver now the city into the hand of the army of Holofernes, that our end may be short by the edge of the sword, which is made longer by the drought of thirst. Oh, that's you. Oh, let us just go and give ourselves up into the hands of the white man and do what he says. They told us to take the vaccine. And if we don't take the vaccine, they're going to come and they're going to get us and get all our children. What the hell are you going to do? Just going to let them come and get. Do you have a brain? Do you believe that you have a right to defend yourself? Do you love yourself, whether you have to die or not? You know what I'm saying? Are you worthy to live? Are your children worthy to live? Are you that weak? Are you going to continue to be that weak? Do not be afraid to die. Do not be afraid to defend yourself. Do not be afraid to fight and defend yourself for the sake of your children. These people ain't going to be in power forever. They won't. Yeah, they think they got it like that, but they don't got it like that. The Father gave us up. And what they did was not by their own power. It was not by their own strength. It was because we were living in iniquity and we transgressed the Most High, and He allowed them this time. He gave it to them. Okay? And He is the same one that allowed them to do that, is the same one that is going to destroy them when our time is up from this dang on punishment we under. They tricked you, they tricked your mind up in the church. They went and told you that you're under grace. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're under some kind of dang grace, and that you're saved. You're not saved you ain't got saved from nothing. You have been redeemed from nothing. The saving and the redemption had to do with our exodus and when the Father returns to deliver us by our own hands and by the Malachim and by the elements of the earth out of this, all the places that we have been in. They tricked you with the Christian game, okay? They tricked you. And then they went and stole your identity, stole your dang history. And then they're pretending that your history is their history. Get it together, people. Do your research about who you are, not what they tell you. You're too busy listening to what they tell you. Do you think your oppressor is going to tell you the truth? Your oppressor would never tell you the truth. It hurts my heart to hear the bull crap history that they're teaching our children in school. That's bull crap. That's lies that they're teaching them. A bunch of bull crap lies about the dang on oppressor's story. And that's why our kids are in the condition that they're in, because they're teaching them an inferior, false education. Now, let me calm down. Let me calm down. Anyway. It says, for it is better. These scary folks, this is what they're saying. It sounds like many of you that I'm listening to are men, and I really hate to hear our men talk like this, but I hear the men talk like that. It's disturbing. It's disturbing because it shows me that you don't have any growth. You don't have any confidence in yourself. And I do understand it. It's the effects of slavery that have our men in that kind of mindset to where they're living in fear. So I get it. It says, so for it is better that being captives we should live and bless the Lord than that we should die and be a reproach to all flesh after we have seen our wives and our infants die before our eyes. It said, we call to witness this day heaven and earth, and the God of our fathers, who taketh vengeance upon us according to our sins, conjuring you to deliver now the city into the hand of the army of Holofernes, that our end may be short by the edge of the sword, which is made longer by the drought of thirst. Many of you are going to be willing to do whatever these enemies of yours tell you to do. Because you're going to be wondering, oh, how I'm going to do that? How I'm going to do that? Yeah, where I'm going to get some money, where I'm going to get some food. Put your trust in the Most High and look to each other for your assistance. It says, and when they had said these things, there was great weeping. Now, these are scary folk. It said, and when they had said these things, there was great weeping and lamentation of all in the assembly, and for many hours with one voice they cried to God, saying, we have sinned with our fathers. We have done unjustly. We have committed iniquity. Have thou mercy on us, because thou art good, or punish our iniquities by chastising us thyself. And delivereth not them that trust in thee to a people that knoweth not thee, that they may not say among the Gentiles, where is their God? Now, we are not the Gentiles, okay? But they have taught us in the church that we are the Gentiles. And because we are going through what we are going through, and because of our iniquities of our fathers, and because we have been sent into captivity, the people are saying, where is your God? Now, I will have you to know that all the leaders of this earth already know what our condition is and why. They already know that we are in the condition that we are in because our ancestors rebelled against the Most High and that we went into iniquity. They also know that whenever we are sinning or continue to sin and are living in iniquity, the Most High will not hear us, okay? So they are dumping all kinds of things within our way that will cause us to live wickedly and live in sin and promote sin and promote iniquity within and among us, in hopes that the prophecy of our restoration, our deliverance from this hold that we are in will not be accomplished. This is what their thoughts are. But no matter what their thoughts are, when our time, when the appointed time has come, and when the chastisement and the punishment is complete, nothing that they put before us will stop us. And the Most High will not look at all the sins that we have done, but he wants us to put those gods away from us. And he is going to require the payment from them for all the sin. They have to pay for that. They have to pay for that. They're going to pay for that. And we are going to be pardoned. That is the time when we are going to be pardoned of our iniquity. And then all the ones among us who do not want to adhere to the Most High, he's going to wipe them out among them. They will be wiped out. They will be done away with. Just like he killed all of our ancestors over there up in the Mount Sinai, where you see that. I can show you a picture of all where the graveyards are with all the bones of our ancestors. He let them be there 40 years and let all those rebels die out. And then the rebels that didn't die out, he killed them out, okay? You know, many of them was killed by the edge of the sword. Yeah, he does things like that. He does things like that, okay? And we do things like that, okay? Now, it says, So anyway, it says, and when they had said these things, there was great weeping and lamentations of all in the assembly. And for many hours with one voice, they cried to the Most High, saying, we have sinned with our fathers. We have done unjustly. We have committed iniquity. Have thou mercy on us, because thou art good, and punish our iniquity by chastising us thyself. Now, why did they say, have mercy on us because thou art good, or punish our iniquities yourself? Okay, our iniquities by chastising us yourself. So they were saying, don't let the nations do it, because that's what the Most High does. When we commit iniquity and we don't turn to him, he uses the other nations to chastise us, to kill us, to wipe us out, to destroy us. We lose the battle. They win the war. Okay. There's a method to the madness. Okay. Or what appears to be mad to you. Okay. There's a method to it. When we return to him, then we are empowered, and we whip they behind, and we destroy them, and we wipe them out. Okay. We destroy the wicked and wipe them out. Okay. Understand that. You don't understand the game, and they didn't tell it to you. They wouldn't, if they are your oppressors, why would your oppressors let you know what the hell is going on? They don't have a mind to tell you, because they want to continue to stay in power. They know what brings down their power. That's why they want to keep you in sin. That's why they want you to be perverse and lewd and everything, and full of any kind of iniquity that you can think of. Okay. Sing all them no good songs and everything. You know what I'm saying? That repetitive stuff gets in your conscience. You know, that music gets into your conscience. And when it gets into your conscience, you begin to behave like that. That repetition, feeding your soul, feeding your mind with iniquity. You know, it starts springing up. When you get fed with iniquity, it springs up in you. If you don't have anything else to guard your mind from that mess. Okay, anyway. So they wanted the Creator to chastise them and not the nations. So they said, we have sinned with our fathers. We have done unjustly. We have committed iniquity. Have thou mercy on us. So even if they were living righteously, they're thinking right now, well, maybe somebody among us, or some people or a group of people among us are committing iniquity. And this is why Holofernes is here. That's why all the armies are here. You know what I'm saying? Some of them probably were not living in iniquity, but they were thinking that maybe someone in the camp, someone in the group was doing some kind of iniquity that they weren't aware of. And so Holofernes is coming because we're getting ready to get punished for that iniquity by this nation, by this great nation. So anyway, they said, have thou mercy on us because thou art good, or punish our iniquities by chastising us thyself. And deliver not them that trust in thee to a people that knoweth thee not. These foreigners don't know the Most High. They don't give a darn about him. They worship other idol gods and deities and demons, the fallen ones, the watchers. Okay, that's who they go to. You know what I'm saying? That's who they worship. That's who they get information from. Okay, that is who they are in allegiance with. All right. So anyway, they were saying, have thou mercy on us because thou art good, or punish our iniquities by chastising us thyself, and deliver not them that trust in thee to a people that knoweth not thee. See, all these nations round about it, they hated Yahweh. They hated him, okay? I want you to know that. Our ancestors before Abraham worshiped many gods and idols, and they worshiped a lot of men and women as gods and goddesses. And these real men who thought themselves to be gods and thought themselves to be goddesses, our ancestors also created and remade them into images and idols that they began to fall down and worship as a god. Because in that day, there were more men and there were more women who did not honor God. And and if they were the leaders of the people, they made the people reverence them as a god, worship them as a god. And if the people did not worship them as a god, they killed them, they murdered them, they sacrificed them, they ate, drank their blood, they did all kinds of things. Our ancestors before Abraham, okay? Our ancestors before Abraham. And I am not talking about the children of Shem at that time, because they were righteous even among the wicked at that particular time too. And most of our ancestors had learned from the righteous ones among the descendants of Shem, okay? So anyway, so we had priests even before the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? We had high priests, and we were delivered the books and writing, okay? They try to tell you this yin yang jazz that we didn't have no writing. That's a lie, okay? So anyway, and even before, you know, our schools of learning, we had schools of learning, centers of learning, where they went and learned the teachings and the instructions and the commandments of the Most High. Our people did, all the way down from the descendants of Adam and Hawa, you know, what they call Eve or whatever. Maybe they call her Eve because they want to say she was evil, whatever the case may be, whatever. So it says, we have sinned with our fathers. We have done unjustly. We have committed iniquity. Have thou mercy on us, because thou art good, or punish our iniquities by chastising us thyself, and deliver not them that trust in thee to a people that knoweth not thee, that they may not say among the Gentiles, where is their God? As they're saying now, because God has not been helping us. And so people are saying, where's their God? They ain't got no God. Oh, the white man, he must be God because he got all of this. You know what I'm saying? But he got all of this because of our fall. You understand? And just like he got it because of our fall, and the Most High delivered it into their hand, they're going to be stripped of it all. And everything that belongs to us is coming back to us by hook or crook. Okay? However you want to call it, it belongs to us. It will be taken back by force. Okay? It will be taken back by force. And whatever is not taken back by force, when y'all get finished with them, they're going to be so scared. They're going to be glad to try to give it back to us, throw it back to us, or we get it however they can give it to us. Just like in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be delivering. Matter of fact, they're going to probably be delivering so much, and many of them are going to go out with us too. You know what I'm saying? Because it's many of them too, that of other nations. See, when we went out of Egypt, there was a mixed multitude that went with us. It was a mixed multitude of other people. You know what I'm saying? They wanted to be with us. They wanted to serve our God. Okay? So there will also be a mixed multitude that's going to come and go with us too. All right? I'll have you know that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, he said, have thou mercy on us, because thou art good, or punish our iniquities by chastising us thyself. And deliver not them that trust in thee to a people that knoweth not thee. That thou may not say, that they may not say among the Gentiles, where is your God? And when being wearied with these cries and tired with these weepings, they held their peace. Uzziah, rising up all in tears, said, be of good courage. Isn't that what you hear me tell you all the time? Don't be scared. Our high priest, the priest, told them. He was in tears. He rose up in tears and he told them, be of good courage, my brethren, and let us wait these 5 days for mercy from the Most High. Okay? That's why it pains me when I hear our men, when I hear our women talk this kind of talk as if we need to give up. We need to give in. It just irritates me. Encourage your people, no matter what. Encourage them. Tell them not to be afraid to stand up. Stand up to defend themselves, to protect their families. Tell them that. Tell them don't worry about what these big mouths are saying. They always been talking a lot of yin, yang, yang. Okay? You know? But whether you know whether or not you have the victory or not, whether you know or not, if you try to fight, you'll fail. Fight, because you just might win. It might just be that time that you might win. It might be the time. You know, it just might be that time. And if you die for your people, if you die for trying to deliver your people, to try to save your people, to help your people, if you die for the cause, for your people, because you love them, the Most High will reward you. And let me tell you something. The only thing that dies is this no good flesh. Your soul and your spirit will live forever, and you will return. This mortal body shall take on an immortal body. But I guess y'all don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I guess you don't believe that. That's why y'all scared of death. Scared to die. Don't believe that you're going to come back again. All right. Anyway. So Holofernes is in tears. But he tells his people, he said, be encouraged. He said also, for perhaps the Most High, he will put a stop to his indignation and will give glory to his own name. But if after 5 days be past, there come no aid, we will do the things which you leave spoken. People have been lied to. These people in the church told you, oh, God is a good God. You know what I'm saying? They didn't let you know that the Most High said, I hate those that hate me. He said, if my hands take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies. He said, if I whet my glittering sword, I will take vengeance on my enemies. Okay? With great wrath. He don't care. With great wrath. When you don't care and you do wrong with him, he what? If you read the text, even if that little Bible that you got, that King James Kibbles and Bits, if you read that text will let you know that when we were in iniquity, from then until now, the Father will raise up all the nations around about for your chastisement. And he'll allow them to murder you, slaughter you, kill your babies. He will allow the animals of the field and everything to rip you and tear you apart. Whatever design he has in store. Some to the sword, some to captivity, some to every kind of thing you can think of, okay? Because the Creator rules in the kingdom of men. The Creator will allow even the baby in the crib to be cut up and destroyed. That's the God who rules this earth and rules this world, like it or not. And when you hate him and when you rebel against him, he will hate you. See, all you have to do is look around the earth and see how the hatred of men is played out, men and women. Look and see, and you will understand what hatred is, what hatred does, and how deep hatred will go. Hatred will find 1,000,000 ways to kill somebody and put them to death. And one thing that I will have to tell you about hatred, hatred don't care. And hatred has no remorse about what it does. Hatred will laugh in your face and stab you at the same time. Hatred will kill you secretly, kill you while giving you a drink with a smile on their face. Kill you secretly now. Hatred will make you think that they're going to take you to a wonderful, lovely spot to have a good time. Smile, talk to you. You think you're having a good time? Take you into a place and cut you up and do all manners of evil to you. Hatred is torturous and tricky, deceitful. You think you got friends in your friends among enemies, and you trust your enemy? If he's your enemy, that means that he hates you, and he will do all manner of evil against you. That's why you're dealing with secret weapons of quiet war. That is a weapon of evil, design and measures that you're not aware of. Anyway, it is written, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Now, let me go head on. I'm going to chapter 8. Those of you who don't want to hear this, click off my video. I don't care. It says, now it came to pass when Judith, our ancestor, not theirs, they tried to take this history for themselves. Now it came to pass when Judith, a widow, had heard these words, who was the daughter of Mirah, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to spell it. Merari. The son of Idos, Idos. The son of Joseph. The son of Uzziah, the son of Eli, the son of Jamnor, the son of Gideon, the son of Raphaim, the son of Achotob, the son of Milehias, the son of Enan, the son of Nathanias, the son of Selithiel, the son of Simeon, the son of Reuben. What's your name, Black people? What's your surname, Black people? You don't even know. Your enemy didn't even want you to know. Yah caused them or allowed them to cause you to lose your name because you had lost your mind. You rebelled against him, okay? He stripped you. He stripped us of our names and let them give us some bullcrap name that's not even ours. Your name, your last name, is the name of your ancestor. So they took away from you the name of your ancestor. So this bullcrap name you get, that's not your name. It ain't your name. It's not who you are. You took it on the slave masters' funky names. And we're calling ourselves by names that is not our name. Okay? But that's what it's like. The father said, I'm kicking you out of my house. I'm kicking you out of my land. And he kicked us far out the house, man. He kicked us clean on out the land. You know what I'm saying? He kicked us on over even to the Americas where our other tribes were. You know what I'm saying? And shoot, we had been separated for so long. It could have been some of them that knew that we were, their relatives in the land, but the white man ain't gonna tell you that at all. And they tried to trump up that bull crap and tell you that the 10 tribes went over in Europe and that all these Europeans is of the 10 tribes of Yisreal. Bull crap. Bull crap. You can believe it if you want to because you have the right to. You have the right to. But what I'm saying to you today, you need to stop listening to what white people tell you your history is. Start looking to your own people to tell you about your history. Do your own research. Matter of fact, you ain't got to listen to me. You ain't got to listen to none of us. Do your own research. Stop listening to these people. When will you understand that they don't do nothing but lead you astray? I tell you, it hurts my feelings just to think about what the bull crap that they educate in our young people in school. We need to get to a place where we can educate our own children because they're getting bull crap, And we wonder why sometimes it seems as though that, oh my God, that they don't know better. If they knew better, they'd do better. Anyway, we're going through Judith's family to figure out what house did she come from. And after we got through all the names of the forefathers, we end up finding out that she was of the tribe of Reuben. And her husband was Manasseh, who died in the time of the barley harvest. And he was standing over them that bound sheaves in the field. And the heat came upon his head, and he died in Bethulia, his own city, and was buried there with his fathers. And Judith was a widow now, 3 years and 6 months, and she made herself a private chamber in a upper part of her house, in which she abode shut up with her maids. And she wore haircloth upon her lions, and fasted all the day of her life, except the Sabbaths and new moons and the feasts of the house of Yisreal. Let me find my place, people. And she was exceedingly beautiful. And her husband left her great riches and very many servants and large possessions of herds of oxen and flocks of sheep. And she was greatly renowned among all because she feared the Most High very much. Neither was there any one that spoke an ill word of her. And when therefore she had heard that Ozias had promised that he would deliver up the city after the 5th day, she sent to the ancient Chambri and Charmi. Okay? Sometimes these men give up, and many of our men, you can hear in their voice that they have given up and they have lost hope. So if they have given up and they have lost hope, they're not in a position to encourage you. They can't encourage you. And that's sad that there's a large number of our men that feel that way and that are in fear. And so if a man is in fear and speaks fear, he cannot talk to you about courage because his courage is lost. His courage is gone. And we had men among us, even in our ancient times, who were not capable of going to war because they were a little fearful. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't mentally strong enough for that, you know. And we need strong men. And if you don't have a strong man, women, you be strong. You know, take your position and encourage your people and encourage your men. If you have men that are not strong, encourage them, build them up, tell them, you know, stand up. Man, be a man, teach them. We are their first teachers anyway. If their fathers are not around, you are their first teacher anyway. Okay, you're the doctor, you're the lawyer, you know what I'm saying? You're the advisor, the counselor. Be strong, take your position. We had women warriors. Take your position, women. If the man is not there, you take the position. You take the control. You take the baton and you move forward like a soldier. Okay, let me go on here. It says, and they came to her, and she said to them, what is this word? By which Ozias has consented to give up the city to the Assyrians, if within 5 days there come no aid to us. Women, you have to stand up. If you got a weak man, you stand up. Because he weak, you don't have to be weak. And if he say some weak stuff to you, you know what I'm saying? Put that stuff in check. Tell a man up. Women up. So when she heard this, she was like, and what it say that she did? It says, when therefore she had heard that Ozias, the priest, had promised that he would deliver up the city after the 5th day, she sent to the ancients. She sent to the elders. Wait a minute. She sent to Chambri and Sharma. And they came to her, the ancients. And she said to them, what is this word by which Ozias, now he's supposed to be the priest, and he going along with them? Some of you want to go along. He said, wait a minute, what is this? What is this word that I hear by which Ozias has consented to give up the city to the Assyrians? If within 5 days there come no aid to us? Just like many of you are consenting to give up your children and yourselves to go and take a vaccine. You are consenting because they said they're going to send the army or whatever, you know, they're going to send and they coming with their troops and everything. We better do what they say and they ain't going to give us no food. Come on now. She said, and who are you that tempt the Most High God? Yahweh, who are you that contempt him? Who are you? Just like I'm saying to these people out here, talking all that yin yang jazz about what we gonna do. We gonna do this to y'all. You know what I'm saying? You try to do this and you got guns and you buy. Look, who are they? They don't have no power. They only got what the Father allowed them to have for a time. Their time is coming to an end. They ain't got it like that. Because when the Father stripped them from that, look, we're going to whoop that behind. I'm going to tell you that. That behind is ours. Now, anyway, let me get back to this. It says, and she said, one of our ancestors, not these people perpetrating, trying to pretend that these are their ancestors. These are our ancestors. These are our books. Our ancestor, Judith, said, who are you that tempt God, Yahweh? This is not a word that may draw down mercy, but rather that may stir up wrath and enkindle indignation from the Most High. These words that they talking, that these priests are talking, that you get your little so-called people that want to call themselves preachers and they in these dang churches. Yahweh ain't gave us no dang on church. Your enemy gave you the church with them temples or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That y'all ain't got nothing to do with that. That's not him. That's the demons and our enemies and the oppressors that gave us these dang on churches to twist our minds all the way backwards. So we wouldn't even have a clue like right now. And she said, this is not a word that may draw down mercy, but rather that may stir up the wrath and enkindle indignation, hatred from the Most High against us. You have set a time for the mercy of God, and you have appointed him a day. Wait. You people so scared, and Uzziah done lost his mind because he done agreed and consented to this. And you done gave the Most High a time. You have set a time for the mercy of the Most High Yahweh, and you have appointed him a day that if you don't do this by this day, according to your pleasure, if he don't work this out according to what you asking him, you done gave him a day at your pleasure. I mean, you little peons done praying to tell God, Yahweh, when he need to do something, or if he don't do it, or this is what we gonna do. Do you want to bring down his wrath and indignation on us? With these words and Uzziah priest, you going along with this? She said, for as much as Yahweh is patient, let us be penitent for this same thing. And with many tears, let us beg his pardon for them words, for telling him or what he need to do by a certain time. For God, our Yahweh, will not threaten like men, nor be inflamed to anger like the sons of men. And therefore, let us humble our souls before him, and continuing in a humble spirit in his service. doing his will. Let us ask the Most High with tears that according to his will, so he would show his mercy to us, that as our heart is troubled by their pride, so also we may glorify in our humility towards the Most High. That's where we're missing, folks. You're running up to these people, to your little presidents and your little government and all of that kind of stuff, trusting in your enemy, trusting in man, trusting in woman, trusting in your politicians. You're trusting in them when we are supposed to be crying out to Yah who rules in the kingdom of men, petitioning the Most High. You running to try to petition the judge, trying to petition the dang Supreme Court, trying to petition all these people. That is your enemy. And the law was not written for you. And it ain't nothing but trickology anyway, full of traps and snares. That's trickology. Roman civil law for us ain't nothing but a bunch of trickology. And you're going to the trickster to try to get help for what our problem is right now, when you need to be going directly to the Most High in humility. All the kids, all the men, all the women among us, turning from our wicked ways. Stop following all their gods and their idols. And those of y'all among us who want to go ahead on and worship the idols of Egypt and all the other kind of idol gods, go. We don't need you. We don't need you. Go onto your side. Stay on your side. But it's time for us to separate and part and get this fest together and know what really is going on, so we can get the solution, not from them, not from them. You're running to them for the solution. Run to the Most High who rules in the kingdom of men. These people don't rule. The Most High rules in the kingdom of men. And that's who we need to go to. Not at the doorsteps of these devils, not at the doorsteps of the Supreme Court, not at the doorsteps of these presidents and vice presidents and all. They ain't gonna do nothing for you. Not at the doorsteps of your politicians that ain't gonna do nothing for you. They'll tell you what you need, what they think that you want to hear. And then you want to believe it because what? My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. They don't understand trickology. They don't understand deceit. They don't understand treachery. They don't understand hatred. They don't understand the ability, they don't understand the level and the depthness that evil men can go to destroy. Go to your creator. You want some help? Go to the source. Go to the one that is behind letting your enemy from every nation whoop your behind and got you in the condition that you're in. It was because of your ancestor. We're serving a sentence, whether you like it or not. And that time is coming to an end. And then you need to find out where your help comes from. The Father don't deal with us. He don't care nothing about your crying and your weeping and your moaning and your groaning about your problem when you're under the conditions to whereas he set up all these nations to come against you, okay, and to trample over you and to put that thing foot in your neck, okay? He didn't say that you didn't try to that you couldn't try to fight and get it off your neck. He didn't say that. At least try it even if it don't work, for the sake of your family, if you love them. Okay, anyway, I'm moving on. It says, she said, for we have not followed the sins of our fathers. She making them come to their senses. Come to their senses. They don't know. They thinking like somebody around here is sinning and these people done came. Somebody around here done did something. That's what she's thinking. So she said, she trying to put them, look, let me correct this. Come on. She said, for we have not followed the sins of our fathers, who forsook their God and worshiped strange gods. That's why we in condition that we are in. We're doing it now today. I'm looking out and I hear so many of us still worshiping the same God, you know, you know. And look, and once we go to school and get into the universities and the colleges and everything, we all up in there, the Zetas and the Betas and the Kappas and all that kind of stuff, worshiping all these dang on idols and everything. Y'all go ahead, go to your side, worship your strange gods. Go do that. You know what I'm saying? Do that. But those of us who choose to worship our God and our Creator, let us stand on our side. Let them go to their side and stay. It said, and so she's trying to help them understand, okay, here in where we are, we have not followed the sins of our God, who forsook their God and worship strange gods, for which crime they were given up to their enemies. That's how we got here. For which crime, that's a crime against the Most High. For which crime they were given up to their enemies. That's what happens. That's why we're in the condition that we are in. It was a crime that was committed. And I need to plug my laptop up because it's getting ready to go off. So we committed a crime. The crime of following other nations and their gods. That's how we got where we are now. And so they taught us the worship of other gods. And our Creator told us that when He drives us out of the land and we end up in the hands of our enemies, that we will even worship more idol gods and different things that our fathers did not even know. We will worship gods that newly come up because we didn't want to honor Him. So He just threw us and delivered us up. He took the hedge that He had around us. He took the protection that He had around us and He left us open. Look at how we are now. Okay. They made sure that they put us in a position and in a place where we are in all the cities where we're wide open. So they can come and jack us the hell up at any time. Okay? But you got to learn to fight back. You got to learn to defend yourself. Okay? And even if you have to die, be killed doing it for the protection of your family, for the protection of your children, for the protection of your old men and your young men. You need to get yourself in the position of prayer and fasting and go before the Most High. Beg His forgiveness. Hope that this is the time that His wrath and His indignation will cease. We don't know that, you know what I'm saying? But hey, try whether you die or what. Try whether you be killed or what. Try whether it's time or not. Okay? We need to be all united in fasting and prayer daily for our people. I cry daily to the Most High. I'm not out here trying to cry to Biden and Camilla and Trump and all them. They are nothing. They can do nothing for us. They are not the answer. They are not the solution. The politicians are not the answer. They are not the solution. They didn't put us in this mess. They're not you have to go to the source. They are not the dang on source, honey. They're not. They were the hammer and the sledgehammer that Yah had used to chastise us. See, the Most High uses people and men in power and in positions to chastise His people when they're in iniquity or when they're going through their punishment, when he puts a sentence on them. And then at the time of the end of their punishment, because our people have been put into punishment a number of times. And so, but when the time of our sentence is up, then that hammer, he restores the hammer back, okay, and the axe. And then we become the hammer and the axe in his hand, and we destroy those nations that destroyed us. Then we win the war, and we win the battle, and we destroy those nations that destroyed us, that oppressed us. That's how it works. You don't understand. They're not going to teach you that. They don't want you to know that. That's why they gave you the bull crap in those churches and put you in there, okay? So you can forget who the heck you are and where you came from and what a great people and a great nation you came from and a strong people, a people who were not able to be conquered as long as they were worshiping the Most High, respecting his laws, his statutes, okay? Long as they didn't disregard him. So these people know, long as they keep you in this mess, they're going to win the war. Get your act together, people. If you want to get back to your position, if you want to get your stuff back, you better reverence your Most High, Yahweh. Now, they hate that word. Yahweh, Lord have mercy. They even try to tell you, oh, don't say the name. You know what I'm saying? And it could be pronounced another way, but our Creator has been called by many names according to his attributes. Anyway, it says, for we have not followed the sins of our fathers who forsook their God and worship strange gods. She's trying to straighten them out. For which crime they were given up to their enemies. They were given up to the sword and to pillage and to confusion. But we know no other God but him. So what is our problem? The Most High gave us up to the sword, to the gun, to be pillaged, to be sent into confusion. So now at this time, the majority of our people are still in confusion. We are still being pillaged. We are still being robbed, okay? We're still being killed by the gun, okay? We're still going through these things, okay? Because we're still at the end of our chastisement. So we don't know at what point it could. Look, I hope we're near the point. But he never told us not to fight back. Because even during the time that they were besieging Jerusalem, and even under the time that we were under Roman occupation, because we've been under many occupation, and we're still under Roman occupation. You just don't get it, okay? And Rome was ruling Jerusalem, where they had moved the city, and they created this fake city. And then they moved the city to the city of Ammon, where the so-called Jews are, they so-called Jews, whatever, are right now. That is not the original location of Jerusalem, but that is where King Herod, was it Herod? Yeah, those of the Herodian Empire, descendants of Esau, Edom, Idumean people, whatever, et cetera, moved the city. And one of the reasons why he moved the city was in order to make sure that we forgot where the actual location of Jerusalem was. So that in also, because they planned many, many years ahead, so that they could trick us to be able to think that the European Ashkenazis who went into the city of Ammon, which is not even Jerusalem, it's the city of Ammon, okay? And part of that area is the area of Mount Moriah, you know what I'm saying? Mount Moriah. And Mount Moriah was the place where, who was that? Abraham, was it Abraham, that was offering up Isaac. He was offered up Isaac on that particular area and location where they are. That was part of that. And the Most High had a ram in the bush, and he gave in the ram substituted Isaac. And at that particular time, Ishmael was there. So where you see the dome of the rock in the city of Ammon, where that dome of the rock is, that is the location where Abraham was going to offer up Isaac. And then Ishmael, I can kind of understand how Ishmael felt and how the descendants of Ishmael felt, even though Abraham shouldn't have married Hagar, but at the urges of his wife, and to me that was a time of a lack of faith. She lacked the faith that she was going to receive a son, and then she's going to push Abraham onto Hagar, okay, which was not the will of the Most High for her to do that. And Ishmael was born, so I can understand maybe the way that Ishmael felt about Abraham being his father, and by him being the firstborn son, and feeling kind of left out in the jealousy. You know what I'm saying? The jealousy. So because of that jealousy that Ishmael had, and Ishmael's descendants also had it, that jealousy and against us, his descendants began to sell the story that, oh no, it wasn't Isaac that was offered on the altar. It was Ishmael. So you have that other story from their side where they say it was Ishmael or whatever, and it was not. But anyway, the over there where the dome of the rock is in that particular area, well, that's why they feel that particular area is a holy place. But that is not where Jerusalem was. There is no, because where the actual location of Jerusalem is the area that I was showing you in my video the other day. and it was also, it was a King Hadrian. They also renamed, I think it was Elia. Oh my God, I have to try, it has to come to me. Palestina. I can't really think right now. But anyway, they changed the name of Jerusalem, the location, the actual location. They changed the name to Tel Arid because they actually wanted us to forget. Should I say that the Father in this punishment of ours caused us to be caused to forget our name, where we came from, and the location of Jerusalem. And he said that land would be very desolate and bare in a wilderness until we return. And as he said, his word goes out and it does not return unto him void. That place is a complete wilderness at this particular time. It looks almost like a desert. And they have what those I can't even think what you call them at this particular time. But anyway, he also said that the children of Japheth shall sit in the tents of Shem, showing themselves that they are Shem, descendants of Shem, meaning talking about us, and are not. So now what you have right now in that particular region and area, you have the Europeans who are the descendants of Japheth sitting in the tents of Shem because that area, the Most High gave Yehuda the land of Ammon. So the land that they are in right now, that area where the Mount Moriah is, where they have the Dome of the Rock, right now, that particular area. is Mount Moriah. And I was going to say something else about that. Maybe it'll come to me because there was something else that I wanted to say. But anyway, I'm gonna move on and it might come back to me a little later. Or maybe after I do this particular video, I can come back to this particular place. But anyway, while I'm thinking about it, I need to say this too. Mount Zion had had a spring around it. Mount Zion had a spring around it. That particular spring that was around Mount Zion was the Gihon spring. The Gihon spring was below Mount Zion, and it was in the city of Jerusalem, okay? There, the area where that is what is now called, because I said they changed the name, is in what is now called Tel Arid. You will see where the Gihon spring was. And the water ran down from the temple into the Gihon spring, okay? So, and that particular area in Tel Arid was where the threshing floor was. And it was the place that it was David that had purchased that particular area, that particular area, okay. That threshing floor in that particular area that is now called Mount Zion today. There is no water spring moving anywhere around Mount, what is that, Mount Moriah, or in the city of Ammon, where the second so-called Jerusalem is. And that particular area of Jerusalem that everybody go to and they think that that's Jerusalem today, that was where they had built a Roman garrison. And so the wall where you see all these people calling themselves Jews, these Europeans calling themselves Jews, weaving and bobbing at that wall, that is not the temple wall. That is the garrison wall. That was the area and location where the soldiers that were what they call it, raffling or raffle, the people or whatever, that was overseers of the people, of our people that were there living in that area under Roman occupation. So, you know, it's so many tricks that's going on. So that is not Jerusalem. That is the city of Ammon. And that is the area where Abraham sacrificed Isaac, and then the Most High delivered a ram in the bush. But anyway, let me go ahead on because I'm all over the place. It says, for we have not followed the sins of our fathers, who forsook their God and worshiped strange gods, for which crime they were given up to their enemies, to the sword and to pillage and to confusion. But we know no other God but him. Let us humbly wait for his consolation, and the Father will require our blood of the afflictions of our enemies. And he will humble all the nations that shall rise up against us and bring them to disgrace. Now, you hear what she said. She had known that there was no sin among them. So she said to them, let us humbly wait for whose? The Most High's consolation. And the Most High will require our blood of the afflictions of our enemies. And he will humble all the nations that shall rise up against us and bring them to disgrace. Mm-hmm. So did you hear what she was saying? The Father will require, he said, our blood of the affliction. That means they got to pay. They will have to pay. And bring all those nations to what? Disgrace. Who shall rise up against us? That's what she told them. She said, and now, brethren, as you are the ancients, you are the elders. These are men. This is a woman of power speaking to these men who had lost their hope, who had gotten scared, who had let the people get to them. She said, and now, brethren, as you are the ancients among the people of God, and their very soul resteth upon you, comfort their hearts by your speech. And that's what we need to be doing now, comforting our people's hearts by good speech. Not this speech of, oh, they're going to come after, oh, they're going to do this, oh, we got to do this. Come on, it said, but we must comfort their hearts. So she told them, comfort their hearts by your speech, that they may be mindful how our fathers were tempted, that they might be proved whether they worship their God truly. How many of you say you believe in your creator? No, you don't. You're worshiping those men in the White House and your politicians and everything. You're not trusting in the Most High. You're not even acknowledging him. You're crying at the doorsteps of these people. You're looking towards a Biden and Camilla, whatever. They ain't gonna do nothing for you. They're not gonna do anything for you. They're not getting you out of this mess. No. So anyway, she said, like I'm saying to you, as she told our ancestors in the days of old, I'm going to repeat what she said. She said, they must remember how our father Abraham was tempted and being proved by many tribulations was made the friend of Yahweh, of God. So Isaac, okay? So Yacob, remember how he was tempted. Remember how Isaac was tempted. Remember how Moshe was tempted. And all that have pleased the Most High passed through many temptations, remaining faithful. Let me tell you something. You don't know what they did because our enemies withheld those books from you. They withheld the writings from you. You don't have them in the churches that they gave you. They gave you a book, a Kibbles and Bits book, a King James version. So the stories of our ancestors, you have no absolute knowledge of that. You have nothing to go back and look upon, okay? Those writings were for you. You need to go back and do your research. Anybody want to tell you, don't listen to that. You know what I'm saying? That they want to tell you about the gods of Egypt and all this other bull crap and all that. Let them go. Let them do that. That's their right. Let them do that. Let them serve their gods. Let them serve their idols. Forget about them. You ain't got to worry with that. Let them do their thing. But anyway, go to the book so you can find out what you need to do. Find out the examples of our ancestors. What did our ancestors do when they were facing these types of situations? So like she said this, they must remember how our father Abraham was tempted and being proved by many tribulations was made the friend of God. The same way Isaac trusted and was proved by his temptation. So Yacob, so Moshe, and all that have pleased the Most High passed through many temptations, remaining faithful. But they that did not receive the trials with the fear of the Most High, but uttered their impatience, and the reproach of their murmuring against the Most High, were destroyed by the destroyer and perished by serpents. Who are our destroyers? All the enemies in the nations. Okay? And then another thing you have to remember, when they put us in the Colosseums, because of our rebellion at that time, they put us in the Colosseums with the bears, the lions, and every other kind of treacherous animal and everything, while they sat in those seats and watched us being gladiators fighting against some animals and some beasts and all this other kind of yin-yang jazz. Yah allowed that. Why? Because of his indignation and his wrath toward us, because we sinned against him. That's why that happened. Oh, you don't think it happened like that? That's fine. You don't have to, but that's why it happened. Okay. It said, but they that did not receive the trials with the fear of the Most High, but uttered their impatience and the reproach of their murmuring against the Most High, were destroyed by the destroyer and perished by the serpents. As for us, therefore, let us not revenge ourselves for these things which we suffer, by esteeming these very punishments to be less than our sins deserve. Let us believe that these scourges of the Most High, with which like servants we are chastised, have happened for our amendment and not for our destruction. And Ozias and the ancients said to her, all things which thou hast spoken are true, and there is nothing to be reprehended in thy word. Now therefore pray for us. The men had gotten weak. The men were at a state of giving up, and they saw the strength of Judith, and she had to help them understand and get it together. She had to help. Many of us women are strong women. We got to help these men get themselves together, because many of them are weak. They don't have strength. They're not in a position to even capable of right now knowing how to protect. And when our men are at that particular level, it's our job to be in the position to protect. Okay? If they can't do it, if they're not at that level, it is us that have to help get them that level. Look at look at the example of our ancestors. The woman such as Judith. The men had to listen to her. She had to help get them together. What are you doing? The priest had to listen to her. He had some sense. He had a mind to know that, yes, you have to listen to a woman sometime. You do. Just because you're a man does not mean that you know the way. It's not all about you. We are supposed to be a helpmeet. That means we work together as a team. It said, and Uzziah and the ancient, the elders, said to her, all things which thou hast spoken are true, and there is nothing to be reprehended in thy words. Now, therefore, they asked her, pray for us, for you are holy. You are a holy woman, and you are one that fears the Most High. You are. And Judah said to them, as you know that what I have been able to say is of God. She told them, you know that what I have been able to say is of God. It is of the Most High. When you have a woman who is saying what is of God, you need to listen to her, men. You need to listen. Just because you're a man does not mean that you know what you need to be doing. Get off your high horse. Get off of your high horse. Humble yourselves. Humble yourselves. And if you can't do it, let the women take charge until you reach that level, until you get there, so that you won't be on here talking weak, not even encouraging and lifting people up, not telling them to be strong and courageous. If you can't say anything uplifting to us while we are going through this troubled time, don't say nothing at all. And Judah said to them, after they said to her, now therefore pray for us. These are men talking. For thou art a holy woman, and you are one that fears the Most High. And Judah said to them, as you know that what I have been able to say is of the Most High, so that which I intend to do, prove you if it be of God, and pray that God may strengthen my design. The Most High put in her heart to have a design to win the war. She was a strategist. She had the military solution. The men and women among us, there's men and women among us who have a military solution, who have a military design, who have a military strategy to deal with these people. We were created as a team. We were created to be partners. We wasn't created so that you can step on our head because we're a woman. We are supposed to be a team, partners. It's supposed to be a partnership. And you got to learn to listen to the one who knows the way. If you don't know it, humble yourself, calm down, sit down and listen. If you ain't got it like that, sit down and listen. If it's a woman, so what? If she have got the program, if she got the strategy, if she has the message, you need to listen. You need to listen, brothers. And if you have a man that knows and understands the way, who has an excellent strategy, that you can see that it's from the Most High, that somebody that fears the Most High. Listen. So anyway, she said, as you know, that what I have said, I would have not been able to say is of God. So that which I intend to do, prove you if it be of God, and pray that God may strengthen my design, may strengthen my plan, may strengthen my strategy. You shall stand at the gate. She told the men what to do. She said, you shall stand at the gate this night, and I will go out with my maidservants and pray you that as you have said in 5 days, that the Most High may look down upon his people, Yisreal, the Hebrews, the black Hebrews, because we was black. Hebrews wasn't white. That's not where we were. That wasn't Jerusalem over there that you see today. That's not Jerusalem. That's the city of Ammon. That's over there where that mountain was that Abraham was getting ready to sacrifice Isaac, but the Most High put a ram in the bush. That's where they are. Now, she told the men, you go and stand by the gate this night, and I will go out with my maidservants and pray you that as you have said in 5 days, the Most High may look down upon the people of Yisreal. But I desire that you search not into what I am doing. This is what the woman told them. Do not search into what I am doing until I bring you word. Let nothing else be done but to pray for me to the Most High God. Now, they didn't have confidence. This woman told these men, don't look into what I'm doing. I fear the Most High. That's what she was telling them. And I have a design. Don't look into it. She said, I desire that you do not search into what I am doing until I bring you word. Let nothing else be done but to pray for me to the Most High God. And Uzziah, the prince of Yehudah, said to her, go in peace, and the Most High be with thee to take revenge on our enemy, to take revenge of our enemies. Did you hear what she said? We run around here scared. But she said, they were not sinning and doing all this mess that we doing. And she said, and they said to her, go in peace, and the Most High be with you to take revenge of our enemies. So returning, they departed. I'm sorry for hollering. I just get a little excited. And when they were gone, Judith went into her oratory, and putting on haircloth, or putting on sackcloth, she laid ashes on her head, and falling down prostrate before the Most High, she cried. She cried to the Most High, saying, "Oh, Yahweh, of my fathers, God of my fathers, God of my father Simeon, who gave him a sword to execute vengeance against strangers." Do you know the history of our ancestors? They have not shown you, but they have all our books. I've been into their synagogues. What you have is like a drop in the bucket. That's what they gave you, a drop in the bucket. The information you have is so inferior. It can't even help you. She said, "Oh, God of my father Simeon, who gaveth him a sword to execute vengeance against strangers." Ooh, that's Simeon. If you hear about Simeon, Simeon was something else that you didn't want to play with. But she remembered him. The power and strength of our ancestors. Strong men, powerful men, mighty men of war. She said, "Oh God, make me want to cry. Father, my father Simeon, who gaveth him a sword to execute vengeance against strangers, who had defiled by their uncleanness and uncovered the virgin unto confusion." The Most High did not allow us to mix with the uncircumcised, who committed all kind of uncleanness, unclean, lewd acts that they're teaching us. They have been teaching us in this country to continue this behavior. And we are continuing this behavior and do not understand why we are going through what we're going through. Our enemies, these people that give you these laws and pass all these laws and say all this wickedness is okay. They know at least they think they know what they're doing, but when our time is up, it's up. When the kingdom must be restored, it must be restored. No matter what we've been doing. But I'm telling you to turn away from all these other gods and these wicked ways and return back to him. Look to him for the resolution. Look to him for deliverance. Look to him for how we are going to be able to take care of all of you when they want to take their little bull crap back. Take it back. Take it back. Take your mess back. Now look, they got us in all this uncleanness. They had Dinah in a lot of uncleanness. And you know what happened? Simeon went and killed the whole city. They slew the whole men of the city. Him and who was that? Was that Judah? Tore it up. When we right with the Most High, when we right with the Most High, when he on our side, one of us can chase 1,000. Two of us can put 10,000 to flight. Do you understand that? But when the script flipped and the Most High delivered us into their hand, one of them was able to chase 1,000 of us, and two of them was able to put 10,000 to flight. Look at what's going on right now. Two little men pulling a black man up out of a car. You got all these black people around here, and y'all scared of them when you can take them. Why didn't you take them? But when the time comes, woe be to that man who did evil to the apple of his eye. Woe be to those families that shall receive a recompense, a reward for all the evil that they have done to us. Woe to all of them who have mocked us and said, where is your God? Woe. They defiled Dinah by their uncleanness, and they uncovered the virgin unto confusion. And who gaveth their wives to he made a prey, and their daughters into captivity, and all their spoils to be divided to thy servants, who were zealous with thy zeal. Assist, I beseech thee, O Most High God, me a widow, for thou hast done the things of old. This is what you need to say to him. Learn the stories and the history. I pray these things all the time. Restore unto us the power and the might of our ancestors, for we were the most powerful nation around the earth. They don't want you to know that. Nobody could whoop our behind unless we were in iniquity and sinned against the Most High. It was a crime. Unless we went in among the other nations, the uncircumcised, the nations that dealt in uncleanness and the worship of other gods and the drinking of blood. Then y'all came after us. Now, anyway, I'm going to say what she said again. She prayed and reminded the father about Simeon, who the father gave a sword. And he took vengeance on his enemies that had defiled our ancestor Dinah by their uncleanness. They raped her. And they uncovered her nakedness, took her virginity, sent her into confusion. And who gaveth their wives to be made a prey? Their wives, that city, they were made a prey. They were made a prey. And the daughters of that city who defiled Dinah, they went into captivity. And all their spoils and all the spoil of that city was divided among our ancestors. They took the spoils of the city. It was divided among our ancestors who were zealous with thy zeal. Assist. She said, assist, I beseech thee, O Yahweh, me a widow, for thou hast done the things of old and hast devised one thing after another. Go back and look at our history and see all the marvelous, wonderful works that the Father did for us when we were walking upright without being in iniquity. And she reminded him, you did one thing after another for us. And what thou hast designed, has been done. Who designed it? Who allowed it? It was the Most High. She recognized, she said, and what the Most High designed has been done one after another. The Father did it for our people. Don't let nobody tell you all your history is in America. All your history is about being a slave. Lie, 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 lie. You are a great people, a great nation, a powerful nation, the most powerful nation on the planet. Now, it said, for all thy ways are prepared. She reminded the Most High. She put that into her remembrance. For all thy ways are prepared. How do you know his ways? You need the books that were written for us. All those books were written for us. We are his people. They were written for us, but your enemies kept back and gave you a little kibbles and bits and told you that's not your history. You're a Gentile. The Hebrews is over there in the land, them white people. That's what they told you. Okay, but let's listen to this. She said, for all thy ways are prepared. The Most High prepares the way. The Most High put it in people's heart to do what they're doing. You wonder why Jay doing what he's doing? If you know the Most High and you know how he works, the Most High puts it in people's heart. The Most High put it in his heart to do what he's doing. You wonder why that man doing what he's doing, why that man telling people to get their black boots and all this kind of stuff and then, get armed and everything like that. The Most High has put it in his heart. Even if he doesn't finish it, the Most High has a reason to raise up an army. Okay? The Most High is putting it in his heart. The Most High has used him that to put it in the hearts of many of us. Okay? And in terms of this war that is being waged on us, I've been knowing about this over 40 years. This day, I've been looking for. I already know about this. Well, everything they're doing, I know about it already. It's not a surprise to me. I'm not afraid of what they're doing. I know by what means they're doing what they're doing, and I know why, and I know how. I'm not worried about them. I know why they're doing what they're doing, and I know that they're going to be stripped too. So I'm not worried, people. Now let me continue about our ancestor. Okay? She said, for thou hast done the things of old and hast devised one thing after another. And what thou hast designed hath been done. For all thy ways are prepared, and in thy providence thou hast placed thy judgments. Look upon the camp of the Assyrians now, as thou hast pleased to look upon the camp of the Egyptians. This is what you guys need to be saying. Look upon all these military that have already planned and stationed themselves in every city across the way. You worried about their plan. You tell God to look at what they're doing. Okay? You petition him and ask him, look at what they're doing. Let you know the design of what they're doing. He already got people among them. The Father has people among them that are there to work in your favor. They don't know it. They don't know everything. The demons don't tell them everything. They tell them things that sometimes make them think that they got it. They really got it going on, but they don't know everything. They don't tell them everything. Sometimes things are not as clear. Sometimes they get it mixed up. But I want you to think about what I'm saying right now. Think about what your ancestor was talking about. And I'm going to go into her a little bit more here. What she said. She said, for all thy ways are prepared, and in thy providence thou hast placed thy judgments. Look upon the camp, like you are. Look upon the military that's being set up for us, against us. She said, look upon the camp of the Assyrians. The Assyrians have set themselves up. The militaries around the world have set themselves up against us. She said, look upon the camp of the Assyrians now, as thou wast pleased to look upon the camp of the Egyptians. When thou pursued armed after thy servants, trusting in their chariots and in their horsemen and in the multitude of warriors. Let's do this one more time. She said, look upon the camp of the Assyrians now, as thou wast pleased to look upon the camp of the Egyptians, when they pursued armed after thy servants, after the Hebrews, trusting in their chariots. They trusted in their chariots and in their horsemen and in the multitude of warriors. Where you see behind me is Mount Sinai. They were crossing, what is that? What is it? What beach is that? New Weibo Beach? I got to go look at that. It was real, people. They crossed the Red Sea. Those chariot wheels, the evidence of those chariot wheels are down on the ocean floor. If they haven't went and took them all out yet, they've been examined, people. It's real. Okay? Those men, they trusted, oh, they had a great army. He even had nations to join up with them. They were armed. They were trusting in their chariots. They were trusting in their horsemen and in the multitudes of their warriors. Just like these armies today against us, they're trusting in their weapons of mass destruction. They're weapons of mass destruction. Wait a minute. Last time I checked, the Most High created everything in the earth. The Most High could take those weapons of mass destruction and turn them on the enemy. You need to be praying that every weapon that they want to use against you, that you pray to the Most High, that those weapons be turned against them. While you are worried. Because they trusting in their weapons of mass destruction. They trusting in their surveillance systems to make them to think that they gonna know where you are. You know what I'm saying? They trusting in that. They trusting in the fact that they done scared the hell out of you, that they ain't got to worry about how they gonna pick you up, because they done scared the hell out of you, and they trying to make sure they get you in the house, so you're behind to be in the house when they come. They want to make sure that they get at every family, because every family gonna be together, so we ain't got to worry about. We don't want to, we don't want them all out running around. We want to trick them to make sure that they're in place to make it easier for ourselves when we get ready to come after them and take them down. They trusting in their strategy, their design. It's a quiet war. You think it's all about a vaccine, and you think it's about wearing a mask. This is war. That's a military stratagem. Really sophisticated one, if you ask me. It'll trick so many people. But they need all of you in your places to make it easier on them, to round you up and to take you out. Military strategy. But you need to be praying that all of this mess that they're trying to do fails and malfunctions, and that all the weapons that they're trying to use, it will be turned back on them. That's what you need to be praying to your creator, not praying to Biden and Camilla. Who the hell are they? Anyway, it says, for all thy ways are prepared, and in thy providence thou hast placed thy judgment. Look upon the camp of the Assyrians now, as thou wast pleased to look upon the camp of the Egyptians when they pursued armed after thy servants, the Hebrews. They were trusting in their chariots and in their horsemen and in the multitude of their warriors. Like today, they trusted in all the various different militaries, foreign military powers, and all of their allies across nations. It says, but thou looketh over their camp. The Most High is the one who looketh over their camp, and darkness wearied them. It says, the deep held their feet. The ocean floor of the Red Sea held their feet. You hear what I'm saying? And the waters, Father, had the waters held up on both sides, enough for us to pass dry. And the waters overwhelmed them. He didn't put that up on both sides for them to be able to get through on dry ground and come out. So they full of pride, and they got all this chariot wheels and chariots and horsemen and weapons, and they fully armed. And then this child, Pharaoh, even took his whole treasury because he wanted to get mercenaries. They're gonna run up in there. Chariot, feet stuck in that mud at the bottom of the Red Sea. Got deep in there, and the waters overwhelmed them. She said, she's reminding the Father. We need to remind him. He know what happened, but he wants to hear us remind him. He wants us to be in the books. They don't want you to be in the books. You'll get too highly intelligent in the books. That's why they read them. So the deep held their feet, and the waters overwhelmed them. It says, so may it be with these also, O mighty one, O Yahweh, who trust in their multitude and in their chariots and in their pikes and in their shields and in their arrows and glory in their spears. This is what you need to be saying. Let it so be done to these who trust in their weapons of mass destruction, in all their tanks, in all their armory, their guns and their bullets. Let it so be. Who they? What they running? The Most High rules in the kingdom of men. The Most High puts evil into people's heart when he wants to chastise people. And then the same people that he used to chastise you with, he'll use you to take them out. Okay? This is what you need to be praying. That everything will be turned over on their heads. All those that have devised evil against you, that their evil be turned on their own heads. The grave that they dig for you, let it be for them. That's what you need to be praying. The heck with Camilla, the heck with Biden, the heck with all the rest of them. The heck with Trump. Start praying, start petitioning right. It says, and know not that thou art our God. That's what she said. And know not that thou art our God, who destroyeth wars from the beginning. And the Lord and Yahweh is thy name. It said the Most High is as a man of war. And as a man of war devises strategies and prepares a war. The Most High is in control. So she said, lift up thy arm as from the beginning. She asked and petitioned the Most High to lift up his arm as from the beginning. She was able to do that because she knew that they were not committing any iniquity and any sin. So she said, lift up your arm as in the beginning and crush, whether you believe it or not. All these militaries and all these designs that they are designing against us, what she said, you need to be saying about these armies. You don't need to be going to these people and different things like that, putting your trust in a man. You need to go to your creator, and you need to ask your creator to lift up his arm as from the beginning and crush these people's power with his power. Let their power fall. That's what I pray. Let their power fall in their wrath, who promised themselves to violate thy sanctuary. Our sanctuary is torn down. It was torn down because of our ancestors' wicked ways. At that time, the sanctuary was still there. But they promised, they in their mind, they want to destroy all of us. Oh yeah, we're gonna do it now across the world. We ain't got to worry about them no more. They're not gonna come back and try to get this, what we done took from them. We're gonna destroy all of it. And we already got them under our fingers because they so ignorant. Just like Pharaoh said, the Egyptians are idiots. They're stupid. They think the same thing. Yeah, we got them. We got them where we want to. They believe anything, any and everything that we say. We got them. So they think they got it going on. Yeah, we gonna kill all of them. Yeah, because they believe us about our little vaccine, and we just so happy. We so happy. We so happy. Look, we got all these poison vaccines running and everything. We got old what is that? That one that I can't stand that boy. Jesus, I see his face and can't even say his name. Lord have mercy, you know. Anyway, we'll get back to that. Anyway, so people, my people, this is what you need to pray. That the Most High will lift up his arm, as from the beginning, and crush all these powers with his power, and let their power fall in their wrath, who promise themselves, she said, to violate the sanctuary, to kill all of us, I'm saying, and defile the dwelling place of thy name. Okay. Because after they drove us out of the land of Father, allowed that. Wasn't a big power shoot. Come on now. They defiled our sanctuaries. They took all of our holy vessels. Took some to the Vatican. Some they put in the British museums. And some that old Queen Elizabeth, she got them in her treasury. Took our throne, our pillar of Yacob. That's where they had a, what is that? The ceremonies and different things. They have our scepter. They have our crowns and our jewels. They were carried away into Europe. Yes, they were. But anyway, so they defiled our sanctuary. They defiled the dwelling place of the Most High's name. And to beat down with their swords the horn of thy altar. It said, bring to pass, O Yahweh, that his pride may be cut off with his own sword. Hey, you hear that? Holofernes was coming with all his armies and everything. And what did she pray? She prayed that let him be beat down with his own sword, the horn of thy altar. Bring to pass, O Lord, that his pride, see, all these people that's coming after us that don't know where their power came from, they all prideful. They full of pride. You know what I'm saying? Look how they talk. Look at this so-called indictment that they brought down with Jay. Oh, all this threatening words. We're going to do this and we're going to establish this kind of department and we're going to do this and, da. All of that to try to scare you. This is what you need to pray. All that they said in that little letter that I posted, let all that be turned on their head. Okay. That design, let that design fall on their head. Okay. Now, so she said, bring to pass, O Yahweh, that his pride, that their pride be cut off. Because they don't know where their power came from. They don't know where it came from, and they don't know why. Some of them, well, I don't know. Some of them know why, but the demons make them think foolish. They think they can change the prophecy. Okay, anyway. It said, but to bring to pass, O Yah, that his pride may be cut off with his own sword. Holofernes. That is his pride be cut off with his own sword. Let him be caught in the net of his own eyes in my regard. And do thou strike him by the grace of the words of my lips, of my lips. It said, give me let's see, give me constancy. Oh, Lord have mercy, I can't pronounce the word now, in my mind. Anyway, she said, give me constancy, constancy, in my mind, that I may despise him. You have to learn to despise your enemy. You have to ask the Father to help you despise your enemies. She said she needed that. You need it. Give me the constancy, the ability in my mind that I may despise him, Holofernes. And give me the fortitude that I may overthrow him. Instead of all this scared speech and all these scared words flying all around. Just listening to these people talking about what they're going to do to you. Who are you to go to your creator? You need to despise these people and ask the creator to give you the fortitude that you may overthrow them. She said, for this will be a glorious monument for thy name, when he shall fall by the hand of a woman. For thy power, O Yahweh, is not in a multitude. No, it's not, yeah. Nor is thy pleasure in the strength of horses, nor from the beginning have the proud been acceptable to thee, but the prayer of the humble and the meek hath always pleased thee. I hear many of you out there, oh, we ain't ready. We ain't got enough people. We ain't got enough guns. We ain't. Father don't care nothing about the multitude of what somebody get, about how many weapons of mass destruction. When the time comes, if it be the time, don't care nothing about that. You don't even take all of that. I'm gonna read that one for you again. It said, for thy power, O Yahweh, is not in a multitude, nor is thy pleasure in the strength of horses or cars like they got out here. Nor from the beginning have the proud. These people are full of pride so they can talk all this pompous stuff, all this boasting. Oh, we gonna get you, we gonna kill you, we gonna do this to you, we gonna put you in jail, we gonna take away that. What? It said beginning. Nor from the beginning have the proud been acceptable to thee, but the prayer of the humble and the meek hath always pleased thee. O Yahweh of the heaven, creator of the waters, and the most high of the whole creation, hear me, a poor wretched, making supplication to thee. We need to make supplication to the Father that all the weapons that are designed against us be turned on our enemies' heads. And she said, and presuming of thy mercy, oh, I'm gonna read it again. Oh, Father of the heavens, creator of the waters and the most high of the whole creation, hear me, a poor wretched, making supplication to thee, and pursue me of thy mercy. Remember, O Yahweh, thy covenant, and put thy words in my mouth, and strengthen the resolution in my heart, that thy house may continue in thy holiness, and all the nations may acknowledge that thou art God, and there is no other beside thee. And it came to pass, when she had ceased to cry to the Most High, that she rose from the place wherein she lay prostrate before the Most High. And she called her mind, and going down into her house, she took off her haircloth, and she put away the garments of her widowhood. And she washed her body and anointed herself with the best ointment. And she plaited the hair of her head, and put on a bonnet upon her head, and clothed herself with the garments of her gladness, and put sandals on her feet, and took her bracelets and lilies and earlets and rings, and adorned herself with all her ornaments. And the Most High also gave her more beauty, because all this dressing up did not proceed from sexuality, lent from virtue. And therefore the Most High increased this her beauty, so that she appeared to be to all men's eyes incomparably lovely. The Father also did that for Sarah in her old age. Now let me continue so we don't forget where we are. He made her incomparably lovely. And she gave to her maid a bottle of wine to carry, and a vessel of oil, and parched corn, and dried figs, and bread, and cheese. And she went out. And when they came to the gate of the city, they found Ozias and the ancients of the city waiting. And when they saw her, they were astonished and admired her beauty exceedingly. But they asked her no question, only they let her pass, saying, the Most High of our fathers gave thee grace, and may he strengthen all the counsel of thy heart with his power, and Jerusalem may glory in thee, and thy name may be in the number of the holy and just. And they that were there said, all with one voice, so be it, so be it. But Judith, praying to the Most High, passed through the gates, and she and her maids. And it came to pass, when she went down the hill about break of day, that the watchmen of the Assyrians met her and stopped her, saying, whence comest thou, or whither goest thou? And she answered, I am the daughter of the Hebrews, and I am fled from them, because I knew that they would be made a prey to you, because they despised you, and would not of their own accord yield themselves, that they might find mercy in your sight. For this reason I thought with myself, saying, I will go to the presence of the Prince Holofernes, that I may tell him their secrets, and show him by what way he may take them without the loss of one man of his army. And when the men had heard her words, they beheld her face, and their eyes were amazed, for they wondered exceedingly at her beauty. He threw them off, the Most High threw them off. And they said to her, thou hast saved thy life by taking this resolution to come down to our Lord. And be assured of this, that when thou shalt stand before him, he will treat thee well, and thou wilt be most acceptable to his heart. And they brought her to the tent of Holofernes. telling him of her. And when she was coming to his presence, forthwith, Holofernes was caught by his eyes. And his officers said to him, who can despise the people of the Hebrews who have such beautiful women, that we should not think it worth our while for their sakes to fight against them? Girlfriend was smoking. And Judith seen Holofernes sitting under a canopy, which was woven of purple and gold with emeralds and precious stones. After she looked on his face, bowed down to him, prostrating herself to the ground. And the servants of Holofernes lifted her up by the command of their master. Then Holofernes said to her, be of good comfort, and fear not in thy heart, for I have never heard a man that was willing to serve Nebuchadnezzar or Nebuchadnezzar, the king. And if thy people had not despised me, I would never have lifted up my spear against them. But now tell me, for what cause hast thou left them, and why it has pleased thee to come to us? And Judah said to him, receive the words of thy handmaid. For if thou wilt follow the words of thy handmaid, the Most High will do with thee a perfect thing. For as Nebuchadnezzar, the king of the earth, liveth, and his power liveth, which is in thee for chastising of all straying souls, not only men serve him through thee, but also the beasts of the field obey him. For the industry of thy mind is spoken of among all nations, and it is told through the whole world that thou only art excellent and mighty in all his kingdom, and thy discipline is cried up in all the provinces. It is known also what Yacob said, nor are we ignorant of what thou hast commanded to be done to him. This is Judith talking to him. She said, for it is certain that our God is so offended with sin that he has sent word by his prophets to the people that he will deliver them up for their sins. So she told Holofernes that they were in sin. And she said, and because the children of Yisreal know they have offended their God, thy dread is upon them. Moreover, also a famine has come upon them, and for drought of water, they are already to be counted among the dead. And they have a design even to kill their cattle and to drink the blood of them. And the consecrated things of the Most High, their God, which God forbade them to touch in corn and in wine and in oil, they proposed to make use of, and thy design to consume the things, and they designed to consume the things which they ought not to touch, which with their hands. Therefore, because they do these things, it is certain they will be given up to destruction. And I, thy handmaid, knowing this, am fled from them. And the Lord has sent me to tell thee these things, these very things. For I, thy handmaid, worship God even now that I am with thee. And thy handmaid will go out, and I will pray to God, and he will tell me when he will repay them for their sins. And I will come and I will tell you, so that I may bring thee through the midst of Jerusalem, and thou shalt have all the people of Israel as sheep that have no shepherd, and there shall not so much as one dog bark against thee, because these things are told me by the providence of God. And because God is angry with them. I am sent to tell these very things to thee. And all these words pleased Holofernes and his servants, and they admired her wisdom. And they said one to another, there is not such another woman upon earth in look, in beauty, and in sense of words. And Holofernes said to her, God had done well, who sent thee before the people, that thou mightest give them into our hands. And because thy promise is good, if thy God shall do this for me, he shall also be my God. And thou shalt be great in the house of Nebuchadnezzar, and thy name shall be renowned through all the earth. Then he ordered that she should go in where his treasures were laid up, and bade her tarry there. And he appointed what should be given her from his own table. And Judith answered him and said, now I cannot eat of these things which thou commandest to be given me, lest sin come upon me. But I will eat of the things which I have brought. And Holofernes said to her, if these things which thou hast brought with thee fail thee, what shall we do for thee? And Judith said, as thy soul liveth, my Lord thy handmaid shall not spend all these things till God do by my hand that which I have purposed. And his servants brought her into the tent which he had commanded. And when she was going in, she desired that she might have liberty to go out at night and before day to prayer and to beseech the Most High. And he commanded his chamberlain that she might go out and in to adore her God as she pleased for 3 days. And she went out in the night into the valley of Bethulia and washed herself in a fountain of water. And as she came up, she prayed to the Most High God of Yisreal, that he would direct her way to the deliverance of his people. And going in, she remained pure in the tent until she took her own meat in the evening. And it came to pass on the 4th day that Holofernes made a supper for his servants and said to Vegol, his eunuch, he said, go and persuade that Hebrew woman to consent of her own accord to dwell with me. For it is looked upon as shameful among the Assyrians if a woman mock a man by doing so as to pass free from him. Then Vegil went in to Judith and said, let not my good maid be afraid to go in to my Lord, that she may be honored before his face, that she may eat with him and drink wine and be merry. And Judith answered him, who am I that I should gainsay my Lord? All that shall be good and best before his eyes, I will do. And whatsoever shall please him, that shall be best to me all the days of my life. And she arose and dressed herself out with her garments, and going in, she stood before his face. And the heart of Holofernes was smitten, for he was burning with the desire of her. And Holofernes said to her, drink now and sit down and be merry, for thou hast found favor before me. And Judith said, I will drink, my Lord, because my life is magnified this day above all my days. And she looked and ate and drank before him what her maid had prepared for her. And Holofernes was made merry on her occasion, and drank exceeding much wine, so much as he had never drank in his life. And when it was grown late, his servants made haste in their lodging, and Vegil shut the chamber doors and went his way. And they were all uncharged with wine, and Judith was alone in her chamber, but Holofernes lay on his bed, fast asleep, being exceedingly drunk. And Judith spoke to her maid to stand outside before the chamber and to watch. And Judith stood before the bed praying with tears, and the motion of her lips in silence, saying, "Strengthen me, O Yahweh of Yisreal, and in this hour look on the works of my hands, that as thou hast promised," she whispered with her lips, she motioned with her lips, y'all, "that as thou hast promised, thou mayest raise up Jerusalem, thy city, and that I may bring to pass that which I have purposed, having a belief that it might be done by thee." And when she had said this, she went to the pillar that was at his bed's head and loosed his sword that hung tied upon it. Okay? She loosed his sword. She deceived him. That hung, and it said, I'm gonna read it again. It said, and when she had said this, she went to the pillar that was at his bedside and loosed his sword that hung tied upon it. And when she had drawn it out, his sword, she took him by the hair of his head and said, "Strengthen me, O Yahweh, at this hour." And she struck twice upon his neck and out off his head, and took off his canopy from the pillars and rolled away his headless body. And after a while, she went out and delivered the head of Holofernes to her maid, and bade her put it into her wallet. And they too went out according to their custom, as it were to prayer. And they passed the camp, and having compassed the valley, they came to the gate of the city. And Judith from afar off cried to the watchmen upon the walls, "Open the gates, for God is with us, who has shown his power in Israel." And it came to pass, when the men had heard her voice, that they called the ancients, the elders of the city, and all ran to meet her, from the least to the greatest, for they now had no hopes that she would come. And lighting up lights, they all gathered around about her, and she went up to a higher place and commanded silence to be made. And when all had held their peace, Judah said, "Praise you, the Most High God, Yahweh, who had not forsaken them that hope in him. And by me, his handmaid, he had fulfilled his mercy, which he promised to the house of Yisreal. And he had killed," listen to what I'm saying, people. "And he had killed," how did he kill them? Through the hand of a woman. How does he kill people? Through the hands of men and women and children. She said, "And he had killed the enemy of his people by my hand this night." Then she brought forth the head of Holofernes out of the wallet and showed it them, saying, "Behold, the head of Holofernes, the general of the army." Listen to what I said. The general of the army of the Assyrians. "And behold, his canopy, wherein he lay in his drunkenness, where the Lord our God slew him by the hand of the woman." How does the Most High kill enemies? How does he kill people? By the hand of men. and women and children. He don't come down all the time to do it by his own hand. He uses people. He uses people. He uses armies. He uses humble people. He'll use the poor. He'll use a beggar. He'll use a baby. He uses people and the elements and the malachim and the animals and the fish. It says birds, whatever. Anyway, let me go back to this. And he slew, it said, our God, Yahweh, slew Holofernes by the hand of a woman. But as the same Yahweh liveth, his angel has been my keeper, both going hence and abiding there, and returning from thence hither. And the Most High has not suffered me, his handmaid, to be defiled. He did not suffer me to be raped, to be gang raped in any way, but hath brought me back to you without being polluted by the uncircumcised foreigners. He brought me back to you without pollution of sin, rejoicing for his victory, for my escape, and for your deliverance. Give all of you glory to him, because he is good, because his mercy endureth forever. And they all adored the Lord. They all adored the Most High and said to her, the Most High has blessed thee by his power, because by thee he has brought our enemies to naught. Let me tell you something. It don't matter about all that they got. You scared because you thinking about all that they got. The Father don't care nothing about what they got. What they got means nothing. All they got means nothing. All these jokers around here talking about, thinking that you ain't got nothing and you can't do nothing because you ain't got no weapons, and they taking all the bullets off the shelves and everything, and pricing the price up high so that you can't get access. The Father don't deal in all of that. My trust and our trust should not be in weapons of war, though you need to have them. Our people had weapons. Okay? It says anyway. It says, and Ozias, the prince of the people of Israel, said to her, blessed art thou, O daughter, by the Most High God, above all women upon the earth. Blessed be the Most High, who made heaven and earth, who has directed thee to the cutting off the head of the prince of our enemies. Because he hath so magnified thy name this day, that thy praise shall not depart out of the mouth of men, who shall be mindful of the power of the Most High forever. For that thou hast not spared thy life by reason of the distress and tribulations of thy people, but hast prevented our ruin in the presence of our Creator. And all the people said, so be it, so be it, so be it. And Ankar, being called for, came, and Judah said to him, the God of Israel, to whom thou gavest testimony, that he reverenced himself of his enemy. That he avengeth himself of his enemies. He has cut off the head of all the unbelievers this night by my hand. And that thou mayest find that it is so. Behold the head of Holofernes, who in the contempt of his pride despised the Most High Yahweh of Israel, the Hebrews, the black people, and threatened thee with death, saying, when the people of Israel shall be taken, I will command thy sides to be pierced with a sword. Then Achior, seeing the head of Holofernes being seized with a great fear, Okay? He fell on his face upon the earth, and his soul swooned away. But after he had recovered his spirit, he fell down at her feet and reverenced her and said, Blessed art thou by thy God in every tabernacle of Yacob, for in every nation which shall hear thy name, thy God of Israel shall be magnified on occasion of thee. You see why your enemy took the book out of the King James Version and wouldn't give it to you? They don't want you to hear stories like this. It says, and Judith said to all the people, hear me, my brethren, my sister, hang you up this head upon our walls. And as soon, gotta see now, and as soon as the sun shall rise, let every man take his arms. Our people had arms. And rush you out, not as going down beneath, but as making an assault. This was the woman who was giving the instructions. Then the watchman must needs run to await their prince for the battle. While you're waiting, you need to be planning a strategy. So she told them, she said, then the watchmen must needs run to awake their prince for the battle. And when the captains of them shall run to the tent of Holofernes, and shall find him without his head, wallowing in his blood, fear shall fall upon them. And when you shall know that they are fleeing, go after them securely, for the Most High will destroy them under your feet. Then Achior, seeing the power that the Most High God of Yisreal had brought, leaving the religion of the Gentiles, he believed God and circumcised the flesh of his foreskin, and was joined to the people of Yisreal with all the successions of his kindred until this present day. And as I said to you, when our Exodus comes, there will be a mixed multitude also of the Gentiles who shall come with us. I'm not saying trust them right now, but they shall come with us in that day. It says, and immediately at break of day, they hung up the head of Holofernes in the daytime upon the wall. See, that's how Yahweh works. He does his stuff also in the daytime. So they hung the head of Holofernes upon the walls. And every man took his arms, and they sent out with a great noise and shouting. Our people did a lot of noise and shouting. They marched around the wall and did a loud noise and shouting and brought walls down. Don't trust in all of those things that they got. Trust in your Creator. So our people went out, and they sent out with a great noise and shouted. And the watchmen, seeing this, ran to the tent of Holofernes. And they that were in the tent came and made a noise before the door of the chamber to awake him, endeavoring by art to break his rest, that Holofernes might awake, not by their calling him, but by their noise. For no man durst knock or open and go into the chamber of the general of the Assyrians. But when his captains and tribunes were come, and all the chiefs of the army of the king of the Assyrians, they said to the chamberlains, go in and awake him, for the mice coming out of their holes have presumed to challenge us to fight. They called us mice. I'm going to say this again. It said, they said to the chamberlain, go in and awake him, for the mice, talking about the Hebrews, they called us mice, coming out of their holes, have presumed to challenge us to fight. Then Begael, going into his chamber, stood before the curtain and made a clapping with his hands, for he thought that he was sleeping with Judith. He was thinking that he done got him a piece, that she had defiled herself, that she was polluted. So he clapped his hands, for he thought that he was sleeping with Judith. But when, with hearkening, he perceived no motion of one lying, he came near to the curtain, and lifting it up and seeing the body of Holofernes lying upon the ground without the head, sweltering in his blood, he cried out with a loud voice, with weeping, and rent his garments. And he went into the tent of Judith, and not finding her, he ran out to the people and said, one Hebrew woman hath made confusion in the house of King Nebuchadnezzar. For behold, Holofernes lieth upon the ground, and his head is not upon him. And when the chiefs of the army of the Assyrians had heard this, they all rent their garments, and an intolerable fear and dread fell upon them, and their minds were troubled exceedingly. And there was a very great cry in the midst of their camp. And when all the army heard that Holofernes was beheaded, courage and counsel fled from them. And being seized with trembling and fear, they thought only to save themselves by flight, so that no one spoke to his neighbor. Listen to this. They were so affrighted that no one spoke to his neighbor, but hanging down the head, leaving all things behind, they made haste to escape from the Hebrews, who, as they heard, were coming armed upon them, and fled by the ways of the fields and the path of the hills. So the children of Israel, seeing them fleeing, followed after them. And they went down sounding with trumpets. We went down sounding with trumpets. We went down sounding with trumpets and shouting after them. And because the Assyrians were not united together, they went without order in their flight. But the children of Yisreal, the children of the Hebrews, our ancestors, pursuing in one body, in one mind, defeated all that they could find. And Uzziah sent messengers through all the cities and the countries of Yisreal, and every country and every city sent their chosen young men armed after them. See, we were armed, okay? We were armed, people. We were armed. We were armed. Do you see, Jay? Who do you think is giving him that mind? It is the Most High. It is the Most High that puts it in the heart of a man. So it says, and Uzziah sent messengers through all the cities and the countries of Yisreal, and every country and every city sent their chosen young men armed with them. And they pursued them with the edge of the sword until they came to the extremities of their confines. And the rest that were in Bethulia went into the camp of the Assyrians and took away the spoil. They took all their goods, everything, which the Assyrians in their flight had left behind them. And they were laden exceedingly. But they that returned conquerors to Bethalia brought with them all things that were theirs, so that there was no numbering of their cattle and beasts and all their movables, insomuch that from the least to the greatest all were made rich by their spoil, okay, of the Assyrians. And Joachim, the high priest, came from Jerusalem to Bethulia with all his ancients, with all the elders, to see Judith. And when she was come out to him, they all blessed her with one voice, saying, "Thou art the glory of Jerusalem. Thou art the joy of Israel. Thou art the honor of our people. For thou hast done manfully, and thy heart has had strengthened, because thou hast loved chastity. And after thy husband hast thou not known any other. Therefore also the hand of Yahweh has strengthened thee, and therefore thou shalt be blessed forever." And all the people said, "So be it, so be it." And 30 days were scarce sufficient for the people of Israel to gather up the spoil of the Assyrians. But all those things that were proved to be the peculiar goods of Holofernes, they gave to Judith in gold and silver and garments and precious stones and all household stuff, and they all were delivered to her by the people. And all the people rejoiced with the women and the virgins and young men playing on instruments and harps. Then Judith sung the canticle to the Lord, saying, I got to hurry up and do this one. "Begin ye to the Lord with timbrels, sing ye to the Lord with cymbals, tune unto him a new song, extol and call upon his name." I'm not going to sing because I'm not that great of a singer. She said, "The Lord putteth an end to wars. The Most High is his name, Yahweh. He has set his camp in the midst of his people to deliver us from the hand of all our enemies. The Assyrians came out of the mountains from the north in the multitude of his strength. His multitude stopped up the torrents, and their horses covered the valleys. He bragged that he would set my borders on fire and kill my young men with the sword, to make my infants a prey and my virgins captives. But the Almighty Most High Yahweh has struck him and had delivered him into the hands of a woman and has slain him. For their mighty one did not fall by young men, neither did the sons of Tate strike him, nor tall giants oppose themselves to him. But Judith, the daughter of Merari, weakened him with the beauty of her face. For she put off her garments of widowhood, and she put on her garments of joy, to give joy to the children of Yisreal, the Hebrews, the originals, the black people, not no white folks, Europeans, sons of Japheth, sons of Shem, dark-skinned people. She anointed her face with ointment and bound up her locks with a crown. She took a new robe to deceive him. Now, I have to tell you also right quick is that the white people are cursed with the leprosy because Japheth's children also were dark skinned. Okay, so I need to put that in, all right? They were cursed with leprosy. Okay. Now it says, now we going back to the song. Her sandals ravished his eyes. Her sandals, her feet, her beautiful feet ravished his eyes. Her beauty made his soul her captive. With a sword, she cut off his head. The Persians quaked at her constancy, Constancy, her constancy, and the Medes at her boldness. Then the camp of the Assyrians howled when my lowly ones appeared parched with thirst. The sons of the damsel have pierced them through, and they have killed them like children fleeing away. They pursued in battle before the face of the Most High Yahweh. Let us sing a hymn to the Most High Yahweh. Let us sing a new hymn to Yahweh. O Adonai, Lord, Father, great art thou, and glorious in thy power, and no one can overcome thee. Let all thy creation serve thee, because thou hast spoken, and they were made. Thou didst send forth thy spirit, and they were created. And there is no one that can resist thy voice. The mountains shall be moved from the foundations with the waters. The rooks shall melt as wax before thy face. But they that fear thee shall be great with thee in all things. Woe be to the nation that rises up against my people, for Yahweh Almighty will take vengeance on them in the day of judgment. He will visit them. Now the day of judgment for our enemies is approaching. We don't know when it is, but the day of judgment will visit them. As soon as our sentence and our punishment and our captivity is near in the end, they will be revisited by the judgment of the Most High. It says, so woe be to the nations that rises up against my people, for Yahweh will take vengeance on them in the day of judgment. He will visit them, for he will give fire and worms into their flesh, that they may burn and may feel forever. Okay, in hell. Okay, and it said, and it came to pass after these things that all the people after the victory came to Jerusalem to adore the Most High. And as soon as they were purified, they all offered holocausts and vows and their promises. And Judith offered for an anathema, ANATHEMA, of oblivion of the arms of Holofernes. Now, when we offered sacrifice, we offered the various different the animals of sacrifice that we were required by the laws of the Most High. So anyway, so when they use the word Holocaust here, we're talking about the sacrifices that we did. So it says, and Judith offered for an anathema of, oblivion, all the arms of Holofernes, which the people gave her, and the canopy that she had taken away out of his chamber. Okay. And it says, and the people were joyful in the sight of the sanctuary. And for 3 months, the joy of this victory was celebrated with Judith. Okay. And it says, and after, come on now. And after those days, every man returned to his house, and Judith was made great in Bethulia, and she was most renowned in all the land of Israel. And chastity was joined to her virtue, so that she knew no man all the days of her life after the death of Manasseh, her husband. And on festival days, she came forth with great glory. And she abode in her husband's house 105 years, and made her handmaid free. And she died and was buried with her husband in Bethulia. And all the people mourned for her 7 days. And all the time of her life, there was none that troubled Israel, nor many years after her death. But the day of the festivity of this victory is received by the Hebrews in the number of holy days and is religiously observed and by the Hebrews from that time until this day. All right, my dear people, that is the book of Judith, which is our ancestor. I hope you learned something from that. And I will be reading more books because you need to know this history in order so that you would have something to think on and ponder on and look at and understand the strength and the power and the might of your people and understand where you came from. Stop believing this story, his story that he told you about who you are and where you came from, like you were some old monkey up in the jungle somewhere, like Tarzan, riding on some kind of dang rope from tree to tree. We had wonderful cities, magnificent cities. We had a magnificent architecture. Awake, oh Yehuda. Awake, Yisreal, and call on your maker. Stop putting your trust in these men, these foreigners, these oppressors, these politicians, these presidents. Stop running to their doorsteps and looking at their Supreme Court with all their corrupt laws of trickery. That's all that is tricks. Tricks are for kids. We got to grow up and be men and be women, be courageous and fearless, and put our trust in the Most High. I have some more stories coming from our ancient books. I've read them all. I ain't gonna say that. Don't tell me I read them all because there's so many books probably I haven't read, but I have read hundreds of them. Hundreds. So my people, I'm signing out. This is Dana Tate. Until next time, shalom.